Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty cool news to go and talk about. So, for this, it's kind of somewhat sad, but at the same time, I've actually talked about this on my channel, at least a little bit, in regards to what the future should entail for these next generations. So think Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and all of that, Switch Pro whenever that does happen, and how at some point we do actually have to go and say goodbye. And this is actually going to be a pretty prominent case where I'm a little bit torn. I'm gonna be honest though, probably like 80% more on the happy side rather than sad side when it comes to all this, where we actually are now finally going and saying goodbye to the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 is pretty much gonna be obsolete when it comes to this type of topic we're gonna talk about in a second, and well, I'm kind of excited. Although, I do want to remind you guys, a lot of folks still don't even have their PS5s yet, as we're slowly working through that stuff too, but for this, it's the step we need to go make. So we're going to talk about this, talk about brand new some stuff. We have like the smallest of all, like not you even have to worry about spoilers too as well, but like it's so tiny that I don't even think I even have to say the disclaimer. I don't think anyone cares. So don't worry about that at all, but lots of stuff to talk about. So make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. We also have the Amazon links down below for all the signups. We keep on mentioning all the Target links too as well, so keep on checking those on out. The Twitter and Twitch room as well if you guys want to follow. And of course, subscribe for that PS5 giveaway. And let's go and dive into the news. So, very big. As you guys know, we usually talk a lot about these like more proper big AAA games. And there is two of them that are very important. Number one is, and this is the one I'm most hyped up for, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, this is the brand new one from the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and this is kind of where the big main topic for this video is going to come from. So, as you guys know, some of the games, such as say God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, are, well, still accessible and usable on the PlayStation 4. Granted, the PlayStation 4 is still losing a few features, such as, not as fast loading times, obviously not as good as frames, resolution and texture and detail, shadows and all of that. Overall, probably options and quality of life options, all of that put together, which is not the preferred gaming route, but at least you can still enjoy the games if you guys are still on the prior generation. Sony themselves definitely made that call because they want to make sure that these games are massive sellers, they hit as many markets as they possibly can, and it does make sense if you can easily make it and code it. But for this one, this is cool. So we actually have some announcements over here in regards to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which that by itself is cool news. Don't get me wrong. I love talking about Final Fantasy. I can't wait to play this game. So, but hear me out. Let me just go through this. You guys will see the point probably. You guys probably already see it right now of what I want to focus on. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth details. The order of visiting each region will change from the original. That's like the little slight spoiler. I don't think I think that's fine. The next update will be a surprise to everyone. Very quick speculation. I'm very curious on what this is supposed to be. I'm actually very curious. I have no idea myself. Haven't seen any leaks, any rumors so far. I'm sure there's rumors out there, but I haven't seen anything big. And now the main topic of this video. No PS4 version as the story goes out of Midgar into a wide world, and loading times would be a big bottleneck. So the PlayStation 5 SSD speeds are needed. Third game will also have an R subtitle to keep it in the Final Fantasy VII theme. Thanks to shift to the PS5 environment and to the development of the Rebirth went smoothly, and actual development period is actually less than 3 years, as they spent 1 year making Integrate in the PC version after Remake. That's why more so for this stuff too, like if you're kind of making the game such as Integrate, you probably have a chance to work on details, work on story, and also let the team itself also work on stuff in the back end, and same thing with the PC side. This all kind of comes from a nice little source too as well, where I could not tell you anything, but we do get to have a chance to get to see some cool photos too as well, and kind of see how this is all playing on out. I always love seeing these cool like little, it just looks good. I can't wait. I just can't wait to play this game. I'm so hyped. If you guys are hyped, let me know in the comment section down below. But some of these open world scenes, this is huge. I love seeing this too in general. So basically a couple more extra details. Apparently not many changes to the character models, but Yuffie's model from Integrate has been modified, which is nice. It wasn't bad, but you can see it. And the order which you go through some places has been changed accordingly, but basically they will also not be deleting anything too as well. Which is funny, some people already calling them out saying BS. Many open world games play fine, and some people being like, stop being purchased by PlayStation 5, as well you guys can kind of see all this type of stuff. So some people are kind of critiquing it already. So the PS4 exclusive, PS3 can't handle. PS5 exclusive, PS4 can't handle. PS6 exclusive, PS5 can't handle. All this type of stuff too as well. So, but the big thing, as you guys can probably tell, it kind of seems like the PlayStation 4 is now, like, once again becoming officially obsolete. We have had a few times now, such as, like, say, for Ratchet and Clank, probably usually the best example I always go back to, that was literally not able to be played on the PS4. And I do agree, after playing it, and if you guys have played through yourselves, I don't think the game would have had and felt as magical, and also some of the features too on the controller made the game a different experience. Some good examples, like there was basically like a half push down for certain weaponry and like basically like big PlayStation 5 mechanics, and that makes a lot of sense too, because as you're doing all of that stuff, it'd just be a completely different game. Like the game flow itself, how you play the game, and how you basically utilize the game, like weapons, would be a lot different on the PS4. You still could. Like, there's nothing saying you couldn't. But as well, if you play through, say, Ratchet and Clank, the game itself, the load times are such a huge importance. Say you're trying to go to different dimensions for boss fights, or like you had to go travel to a different area. A PS4 would probably have issues. But as well, we also had a lot of characters, and the game kind of felt pretty alive. The introduction scene would probably be a good example, where there's just hundreds of characters on the screen, and the PS4 would probably melt and drop frames, and it wouldn't be a good special experience. And that is kind of the big push for what they're saying over here, where the PS4 itself essentially would just not work. They want to try to go make like the open world wide area to basically be something that they could be efficient enough. And as well with the SSD, they can maybe have micro load areas or have like segmented loading, and it would make the game flow. Because no one at this day and age, especially don't forget, like say comparison to like a Spider-Man game, there was loading times for those types of games, or Fallouts, or Skyrims, whatever. The big issue is, at this point, no one's going to want to really wait 15, 20 seconds for a game. I'm sure some folks, maybe you guys watching, would be okay with that. I just know, like, I stream a lot on Twitch. I see people on Twitter. I see people complain about everything, YouTube comments or whatever. People will not want to wait. People would make fun of the console. It'd be bad PR, even if the PS5 version was phenomenal. And overall, at the end of the day, I do always stand by we should probably be making this next-gen push. Because look at how beautiful this looks. But if you want to make this all open world and you actually want to have good textures, make the character models cool, and I'd probably say, as you guys know, for Final Fantasy games, it's probably a lot of the animations. The animations for a lot of these games are crazy when it comes to summons, when it comes to abilities, when it comes to mobs, when it comes to, like, the actual act of hitting something. Most of these Final Fantasy games are very in-depth. Or if you guys even remember the Final Fantasy VII Remake or the final boss, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's a very crazy, huge fight with a lot of stuff going on and a lot of things your consoles need to go and render. So, if you want to have casual mobs, you want people running through it, you do have to utilize and build this for the next generation stuff, aka the PlayStation 5. And I do think it kind of goes to show that the PlayStation 4 is a little bit more on the outdated side, even the pros. But for me, I always stand by that we do at some point have to make this push. A lot of these companies are very teeter-tottering, where they're like, well, the PS4 has a lot of people. Yes, they do. But don't forget, if your game's coming out next year, that's going to be a whole nother 6 months, year, 18 months, whatever it may be, holiday season, that people will be buying and getting PlayStations. The PlayStation market is already at, like, I think over 20 million, probably a lot more after these past few weeks, because we haven't seen any numbers in a while. So for me, I'm sitting here and I'm like, bro, give us a PS5 exclusive game, especially if it's going to be a 2023 game. And I do think a lot of these other games are finally pushing towards this, where they're finally making the commitment, and they're going to be like, okay, let's go try to make the best game we can, because we don't want to have a baseline game that kind of, well, sucks. So I love that they're doing this, although I do know a lot of you folks out there still have your PS4s, and it's still hard to get. But don't forget, this game's also going to probably come out in like 2023. So we actually have a decent amount of time still for you guys to still get your consoles, save up for your consoles, get it for birthday, Christmas, whatever. Maybe get a part-time job or a side job, or it just depends on how old you are. And we can have a chance to go get them. Because this is a big focus. Like, I do think a lot of folks will appreciate us playing this. And I think a lot of folks will appreciate us as well, having a chance to finally have some good PS5 games. So I love that Final Fantasy and Square Enix are doing this. They get the thumbs up from me. And I want to hear your thoughts and comments down below. As well as also let me know if you guys are even excited for the game in the first place, because this is probably one of the most anticipated games in my mind, and I almost want to replay through Final Fantasy VII Remake at some point in the near future. So I'll make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. Amazon links down below for all the signups for the PS5s. Same with the targets. Keep on checking your target areas. And like I said, subscribe, Twitter and Twitch, and make sure you guys go pop a follow, leave a like, and give me your thoughts all down below.